Hello everybody, Accureye here, and welcome back to another, well, what might be one of the last, Smite videos I will be doing. Mostly because, at first this was just going to be a simple video of me talking you through how to play, or be doing your role on, Smite as a mid lane, player, and then it kind of ended up with me kind of wanting to talk about some of the concerns I had with Smite, and one of the main things I noticed at the end of the time I was recording this. So first, let's just first of all get down with the concerns, and then I might start talking about the how to play mid lane, or I might start with how to play mid lane, and then I'll get down to my concerns. But like I've said before, for those of you who are wondering, yes, this is going to be a slight concerns video and kind of a slight voice out to Hirez, because obviously Hirez has some real toxicity going on with Smite and of course their games in general. And with that being said, I mean, let's face it, at the end of the day, this is not good for anyone, and in my opinion, it means that, you know, they really are not taking anything more than just the fact that they want your money. So, with that being said, I mean, let's just first talk about the, how to play mid lane, and of course, what to do, when it comes down to being mid lane. One of the main things, of course, is mid lane. I mean, you're the mage, usually. You're usually going to be, protecting or using magic, and pushing the middle lane. Not too often are you going to see yourself, diverting from the mid lane, without some protection. And yeah, that's one of the main things about it. I mean, there's not a whole lot. I mean, if you've seen my how to play a mage video, I've already kind of taught you how to play a mage. I just thought this would be a little more in detail with going mid lane. Obviously, like I've said, mid lane, it's more about being the flat out pusher of the mid lane, and you know, kind of in turn diverting or having your resources diverted to you, so that you could continue pushing the split, or continuing the split. As it is with most MOBAs, in a MOBA, I mean, obviously, you're supposed to watch all three lanes. The main job of the mid lane is to push the mid lane. The jungle is meant to fill the problems or the role of anyone else, and whoever is in need of help. And of course, you know, as a mid lane, I mean, magic is your ordeal. Pushing the mid lane and continuing to keep things moving, keep the split push, if you will, moving, is your ordeal. And that's kind of your job as a mid lane player. Now, like I've said, that's kind of the idea of being mid lane. I mean, get buffs every once in a while, you know, and just try to keep the push going for mid lane player, as a mid lane player. But with that being said, I mean, I would say that that's kind of the idea of being a mid lane player, being in a mid lane position and calling the mid lane role. But with that being said, I think we're going to now divert over to some of my concerns and some of my problems with Smite in general, and just in general with the overall Smite and MOBAs. And you know, the thing is, the MOBA scene has seen this for years. Anyone who knows the MOBA scene, anyone who's played in the MOBA scene, anyone who's been part of the MOBA scene, you know MOBAs, there's a whole bunch of egos. Egos are the biggest thing going forward with Smite and any game in general. And it's unfortunate that in this day and age, in this day where tryhards are represented to be the best of the best. Tryhards are revered for many people, and it's sad to see. It's really sad to see games like, Smite and even beyond Smite. I am not just talking about Smite. I'm also talking about games like Overwatch, which I have a concerns video coming up for Overwatch. Games like Battle Royales. I mean, let's face it. No matter what you look at it as, whether it's even a fighting game in some cases, people are letting ego get the better of them. And it's sad to see this. It's hard to watch gamers and players just stop having fun with games and make it to where ego puts them into the wheel, into the frying pan, if you will, and just if you will, into the thoughts of, well, if I'm not winning, then then I'm not doing good in a way, and as I've said, it's sad to see egos take the advantage of so many gamers these days. And I mean, even as a streamer, I've seen ego make the worst of any streamer. I mean, when you look at it, egos are pretty much the worst enemy of any video game. I mean, if you have an ego, you literally should not be playing a video game at all. If you have a, and same goes with being a streamer. In many ways, I mean, it's ego that takes apart the fun and the overall just, the fun of what you do. And I mean, it's sad to see people on MOBAs like Smite report you just because you're losing, just because you lost, just because you're being the try-hard, egotistic idiot. And yes, I'm only saying idiot on this case. I do pardon my language, but seriously, it's so difficult to have seen, people just create this environment where for them it's like winning is everything. I mean, let's face it, everybody. If you've ever played a team sport, if you've ever played games for a long time like me, winning is amazing. Winning makes you feel absolutely, just like, wow, I did that. That was cool. That was great. But when you're too focused on winning, and winning is pretty much the only thing that matters, honestly, you are a sad person. Winning is not the only thing that matters. And just because, like in Smite, you can report people just because of the fact that you lost, just because of the fact that someone got more deaths than you, and they weren't carrying the team, it doesn't matter. In a MOBA, it's a team-based game. MOBAs are a team-based game. If you're not working as a team, you're going to fail as a team. No one gets the blame for that. In fact, a lot of times, the person who reports you, it should get the blame, because let's face it, they are the problem. They were the tryhard. They were the egotistic idiot that believed winning is the only thing that matters. And honestly, I feel that, as a competitive player, yes, winning matters. Winning is great. Winning defines you in many ways. I'm a competitive streamer. I love winning. I love the competitive scene because it's great. But the thing is, with the competitive scene, and as a competitive player, egos get left behind. There is no one person who's like, oh, I was so much better than you because I won. Because I got this. I got further than you. I mean, I think people who are competitive these days don't realize that your rank doesn't matter. The thing is, the only thing that matters and when it comes to competitions, and maybe this is my old competitive mind thinking, but the only thing that matters is not if you win. It's a matter of, did you do your best? Were you giving it 110%? And, I mean, was your opponent actually giving you a challenge? In many ways, the competitive scene, it loves having people who give you a challenge. I mean, if no one gives you a challenge, if you're the best in the world, and I know there's always that number one out there who can't be beat by anyone, and then someone comes around and beats them. You know, if you're literally number one, there's nowhere else to go. You're the top. You're going to be fighting for the position against everyone else in the world. You know, believe that. And believe me when I say I love competition because of that. You know, I love competition because, you know, if you're not number one, and if you are number one, everyone is coming for your position. Everyone wants to be the number one spot. And, you know, it's up to you to beat everyone and to practice and to beat everyone in order to stay number one. But if someone does beat you to number one, all of a sudden, now you have someone who you can practice, someone who you want to go, who you may want to reclaim that spot eventually. And if you don't want to reclaim that spot, then that's when you retire. That's basically when you quit. That's basically when you just say, you know what, it doesn't matter anymore. But the sad thing is, ego has taken over in the gaming world. People just want to be number one and stay number one. And they don't care how they do that. They just want to stay there because, you know, let's face it, we're spoiled. You know, too many people who enter the competitive scene now are spoiled to the point of seeing people like Ninja, who is like the number one player out there, I think, for Fortnite right now. You know, people who are in that number one position. You know, too many people are out there because they want to stay there, you know. But the thing about the competitive scene is the fact that it always changes. There's always going to be someone who eventually knocks you down. And when they knock you down, it's like, what are you going to do? You're going to get back up and you're going to go again. You're going to bring the run again. You're going around, you know, you're going around, you know, you're going basically round it up. But, you know, other than that, I mean, let's face it, you know. Competitive scene, it's all about having fun, everybody. And egos, especially like in MOBAs, where the ego meter is high, it's like, you know, you gotta realize, this is not a ranked match. In ranked matches, of course, your rank's going to matter. But in casual matches, let's face it, if you're basically trying hard, if you're basically trying to win, and you're basically always expecting to win, then guess what? Go to ranked matches, everybody. Seriously. It's not that hard. And if you think that people are terrible on ranked matches, try them out. Seriously. Try them out. See if they match your perspective. Because in a casual match, there's no room for egos. If you're egotistic and you're expecting to win on a ranked match, then let's just face it, you are a sad person, you're someone who doesn't care about having fun, and you should probably never play video games again. Hard truth is, if you're that egotistic in a casual match where people are just trying to have fun, then you do not deserve to play video games, everybody. You should have all your video games, your video games taken away. You should quit playing video games if you're that egotistic. And that's the problem with MOBAs. There are so many people who are so egotistic, especially in casual games, that, you know, we don't have fun anymore. Nobody gets to have fun. And everyone thinks that this is a competition. Ranked mode was built for competitive players. And that is where everyone's going to play their best. Casual matches are just for fun, everybody. And that brings me to my concern with Hirez. Hirez does not fix this problem. Hirez does not even address this as a problem. They're only in it for the dollar signs, everyone. Which brings me to my point of, if you're going to play the game, if you're going to play anything, don't support Hirez. Do not pay money for Hirez stuff. I mean, yes, the costumes look amazing. You know, the character, they're always addressing and giving new characters. But it's not worth it, everyone. Hirez sucks, in my opinion. Hirez really is just not managing the egos. They're not even caring to look at it case by case and look at it based on, did this person wrongfully address somebody? I mean, they're just going to say, oh, boo-hoo-hoo, we got someone who got reported. We're just going to slap them on the shoulder or something, and we're going to give them the punishment. We're not going to just look at it as case by case thing and say, oh, did this person really feed the other team? Was this person really stupid and did that? Because, you know, unfortunately, Hirez doesn't care. Which is why I'm going to just tell you, don't support Hirez. Do not play any of their games. And unfortunately, unless Hirez addresses this and somehow reaches out to me about this, I'm not going to support another game. I don't care if you give me hate. I will be blocking everybody who does give hate about anything on this. But I want to bring up my concerns, and I want to voice something to Hirez. Because, honestly, this is going to be the last video I'm going to make of Hirez, anything Hirez about Smite or anything like that. Honestly, Hirez, I hope you fix things, because on my list, you're becoming as bad as Capcom. And Capcom used to be good. But, to show you what I mean, I'm going to go ahead and cut ahead, and then we'll close out this video, and I'll show you what I mean. Alright, so here we are. So this is the point where I was just going to quit and close out the match, and then this happened. And this is what I mean by Hirez. I mean, seriously, I'm done with your games. And I hope everyone quits your games. I hope everyone stops playing your games, because obviously, this was unreasonable reporting. This was toxic behavior. And, I mean, seriously, are you going to slap the back of the person who reported this? Because, honestly, I'm done with your games. And I hope that everyone who plays anything related to Hirez quits their games. Do not play Hirez games. Don't give them money. Let them go bankrupt. As far as I care, unless Hirez decides to want to reach out to me and apologize or anything, I mean, seriously, I'm just telling you, Hirez only wants to take your money. They don't care about you. They will just let people boo-hoo it and baby cry it, okay? And with that being said, I do apologize that this was a bit of an angry video, a bit of a video where I'm just trying to voice my opinion, but I feel that this is exactly what I mean by I have to voice my opinion, because, let's face it, Hirez literally just does not care about you. And with that being said, if you like this video, you know what to do. Hit that like button, get subscribed, hit that bell notification, voice your opinion out to Hirez. If you've been wrongfully reported, voice your opinion to Hirez. Tell Hirez, give him a flurry of hate. And, yeah, with that being said, if you want to join me live on Twitch, you can join me live on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/Accureye. I am live on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Or, not Fridays, Saturdays. Sorry, Saturdays. But thank you everyone for joining me, and until the next one, this is Accureye, signing out and saying farewell, everyone.